This is not a win for me.
Sweet mother of God. Some of these look kind of janky, but you know, that's how I live my life. Oh my God.
That's solid.
Hot, hot, hot. Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another day of Vlogust. Today's video is going to be all about air fryer desserts. Today's video is also in collaboration with my friend Christine over at Frugal Fit Mom. She is also going to be making 3 air fryer desserts, so make sure after you check out my video that you go over and check out hers. I'll have it linked in the description box below. Word has it on the street that she is making some pretty amazing fried Oreos in the air fryer, so you are going to want to check that out. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jen. I'm a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids, and in some videos I like to wear my hair piled on top of my head with a headband and no makeup because we keep it real around here. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 air fryer desserts. I'm very excited for this because I have made a lot of things in my air fryer. In fact, I do have a dedicated air fryer video, which I'll link down below, but I have never specifically set out to make desserts in my air fryer, so this is kind of new territory for me. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an apple chimi cheesecake. You guys may remember this from the old school Applebee's days. It was one of my favorite items on their menu and it was so delicious, and I'm looking forward to recreating that at home. I'm also going to be sharing some air fryer donuts. These are not made out of biscuits, they're homemade, and we will see if they are as good as regular donuts. I'm not sure. I'm not super skeptical, but we'll see. Last but not least are some chocolate lava cakes that I'm also very excited to try with some vanilla ice cream. And because of the good friend that I am also going to taste test them all for you because I want to tell you whether they were a flop or not and whether you should be making them. So let's get started. Okay, so I have my stand mixer here, and in here I have a cup of milk that I warmed up in the microwave. It is lukewarm. You want to make sure it's approximately the temperature of your skin, not too hot or it will kill the yeast, and not too cold or the yeast will not activate. So there's 1 cup of warmed milk in there, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 2.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast. So I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes and let the yeast bloom. Okay, so for the apple chimi cheesecakes, I'll post a recipe down below that I'm like loosely following, but overall I'm kind of just making this one up as I go because I couldn't find one that was air fryer specific. But I do need an apple filling for that, obviously, and I could have got a can of it at the store, but I decided to just make it out of apples. So I have a few apples here that I'm going to chop up, and I'm going to put those in a skillet with some butter and some brown sugar and some cinnamon and let them cook down. Added my chopped apples to a small skillet with probably about 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and some cinnamon. So I'm just going to let these cook down over medium heat until they are nice and tender and they taste like apple pie filling. Okay, so back to the donuts. Hopefully you guys can kind of see this, but see how the yeast has foamed up with the milk? That's exactly what you want. If it doesn't foam up, then it means either your yeast is not active anymore, or your milk was too hot, or it wasn't warm enough. So since we have the foaminess there, we know that it's good. We're going to go on with the recipe. Okay, so in my mixer bowl, I have my dough hook attachment, and I put a 1/4 cup of melted butter in there, 1 beaten egg, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 cups of flour, and I'm going to mix this together and then add an additional cup of flour. I have kneaded this dough for 5 minutes with the dough hook, and you kind of want it to start pulling away from the sides I had to add a little bit more flour, actually quite a bit more flour than the recipe called for, but I'm not going to add any more because I don't want it to be too dry. But I'm going to cover this up and let it rise. And I usually just stick it on the back of my stove because it tends to be a little bit warmer back there. Or actually, maybe I'll put it in the, maybe I'll cover it with a towel and put it in the oven with the oven light on. That way it will rise in a warm place. And I wanted to say also that when you're making dough, you know, sometimes you have to add more flour than the recipe calls for, depending on your environment. Sometimes you have to add less flour. So it's sort of a balancing act. And once you do it a few times, you will definitely figure it out. But this is the recipe I'm using for this. So if I didn't mention it before, all of these recipes will be linked down below if you guys want to try them out. So I'm going to get this proofing, and see, I spilled some flour on the floor. Whoops. My apples are done cooking, so I'm just letting those cool for now. Okay, so we're definitely multitasking here. Donuts are proofing, apples are cooling. We're going to get started on the air fryer cake, the lava cakes. So I have 1 cup of chocolate chips in here and 7 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just going to melt this in the microwave, like in 30-second increments, and stir it every 30 seconds to make sure it doesn't burn until everything is melted and smooth together. Okay, so this only took 45 seconds, so definitely don't overdo it on the melting of the butter and chocolate. Next is some eggs and sugar, and we're going to whisk this together separately and then add the two together to make sure that we don't get scrambled eggs. Okay, this looks delicious. So I whisked in 1.5 tablespoons of self-rising flour. Make sure you use self-rising and not all-purpose. And I'm going to get this into the ramekins. Yum. This is the air fryer that I have. It's a Kasori. I have tried so many different brands, and this is my favorite. I honestly have tried like 4 different air fryers just because when I first started doing YouTube, so many companies sent them to me, and this has been by far my favorite. It has a decent size basket. It's easy to clean. I don't know, I just really love it. So I'll link it down below. I think it's around $100 on Amazon, and I have the white one, but they also have a red and a black, I think. So I have some ramekins, and this is what we're going to cook the chocolate lava cakes in. I'm missing a white ramekin, so I have a lone orange one here. Thank you, Laura, for regifting these to me. But I'm going to just put these ramekins in the bottom of the air fryer. And then I'm going to spray with cooking spray and then pour the batter in there. So these are going to bake in the air fryer at 370 for 10 minutes. All right, so let's check the status of these. Oh my God. Look at that. That's heavy. Those look perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can turn this out onto a plate like the recipe says. Good Lord, it's hot. Oh, it is lava on the inside, but it's stuck. Hold on. Hot, hot, hot. So I bet if you left it in the ramekin, it would be okay. But all right, we're gonna taste the chocolate lava cake. I'm gonna taste it without ice cream first. I'm not like a huge chocolate desserts fan, but dude, that's good. I think I could have baked these a little bit longer maybe, but wow. Make this
for sure. If you like chocolate desserts or chocolate lava cake, this would be like the perfect dessert to make for like a quick, like even if you wanted like a quick weeknight dessert, it's perfect because you saw how little effort it took. Basically mixed everything together, poured it in the ramekins, air fry it for 10 minutes. I would suggest maybe going to 15 minutes or 13 minutes. That's solid. All right, lava cakes are a win. All right, look at our gorgeous donut dough. It has doubled in size. So I'm going to flour off this counter, or flour up, flour off, I don't know. And then I'm gonna roll this out. And then I have 2 cutters here. I actually have a circle biscuit cutter, and then I have this little round cutter that I got in like a lunchbox kit. You can get donut cutters, which I would actually recommend, and I'll probably order one after this, but since I don't have that, I'm going to use these 2 together to make the donuts. And then I'm going to put them on the parchment paper, and then we're going to let them rise one more time before we cook them. All right, so here are the donuts. Some of these look kind of janky, but you know, that's how I live my life. So I'm gonna put these in the oven and on the proof function and just let them rise until when? What does it say? 30 minutes. So we're gonna let these rise for 30 minutes before we put them in the air fryer. Okay, so let me know if you guys remember this dessert from Applebee's, the apple chimi cheesecake. So essentially what it is it's kind of a take on a chimichanga, except it's filled with apple pie filling and cheesecake. So they used to serve this at Applebee's, and I believe it was deep fried there. And they'd have it with like ice cream and caramel sauce. And it was like my favorite dessert ever, even though I wasn't a really huge desserts person. So what I'm going to do to recreate this is I'm going to use the apples that I cooked up. I got some Mission flour tortillas, and then instead of making the cheesecake filling, I'm just going to use this Philadelphia no-bake cheesecake filling. You can find this in the grocery store by the cream cheese. Let's see if I can get it open. That's what it looks like. It's just no-bake cheesecake filling. So what I'm going to do is roll up some of the cheesecake filling with the apples in the tortilla, and then I'm going to brush them with melted butter and bake them in the air fryer. And then when they come out, I'll put cinnamon and sugar on them. Okay, so here is my little chimichanga. I'm just making one because it's not time for dessert right now, so I don't want to waste a bunch of this stuff. If we decide to have it later as a family, I'll make more. But I wrapped up the cheesecake filling with the apples, and I just folded it like a little burrito. I brushed it with melted butter, and I think we're gonna do this. Let's see. Let's do it at 370 for 5 minutes, and then I'll check it, maybe flip it over, brush it with more butter, make sure it's all golden brown on the outside. All right, let's look. Oh my goodness. It's showing up a lot lighter on camera. Oh, it's even golden brown on the underside. I feel like that's done. I'm gonna do a couple more minutes just to make sure it's crispy. Sweet mother of God. All right, so what I did was, after it was done, I just rolled it in a little bit of cinnamon sugar, cut it in half, put some ice cream on the side, topped it with some caramel sauce. I cannot wait to taste this. Okay, this has got to be a lot of calories. Oh, it's all in the name of science. I gotta get some of that shell. Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like this needs some work. This is not a win for me. I'm so disappointed because I was so excited too. I don't know what it is. I feel like the texture is different, obviously, because it's air fried and not deep fried, which obviously. But I feel like the flavors aren't right. Perhaps I needed more apple filling and less cheesecake filling. I don't know. I definitely want to try it again. Maybe research some more recipes. So I don't know if I can recommend this one. Definitely I would make some modifications and try it again. I also think it's really hard to eat because you're just trying to like cut through this with a fork or a spoon, and then the cheesecake filling goes like all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say that was a flop. That was a flop, but I might try again with some modifications. Okay, so here are my donuts. They have risen, and I put some in the basket of the air fryer here. I sprayed the basket first with some cooking spray, and I'm going to spray the top, and then I'm going to put these in the air fryer, 350 for 4 minutes. And I also made the glaze, which is basically melted butter, powdered sugar, vanilla, and some hot water. These look like bagels. I'm highly suspicious. I don't know, man. Okay, we're gonna dip these in the glaze, and then I should be using a fork. All right, so I'm gonna dip them in the glaze and put them on the rack, and then they need to cool for about 10 minutes before we try them. All right, we're gonna try the bagel donut. It's acceptable. I would definitely eat them. I think for an air fryer donut, it's really good. If you want something that's not deep fried, it doesn't taste exactly like a traditional glazed donut, obviously, because those are deep fried. But it's good. It's definitely like light and airy, and it does taste like a yeast donut. Not bad. Definitely a lot of steps and a lot of work, but if you want a healthier yeast donut, definitely try this out. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this air fryer desserts video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which one out of these 3 you are planning on trying, if any. Again, I will have the air fryer that I have linked in the description box below. I've tried a lot of them, and this one is by far my favorite. And don't forget to check out Christine's video as well, which will be linked below. I'll see you tomorrow for another day of Vlogust. Bye.